a Clean Impact team. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for being part of the world's greatest cleaning team. Thank you so much for the impact that we are having on our community by keeping people safe and healthy. Thank you so much for showing up for your family by being a good example, by being remarkable, by making those little deposits into excellence, by being your best. Thank you for all these things, team. Thank you for all these things. It makes my heart happy to be able to talk about it. It makes my heart happy to be able to think about it. It makes my heart happy to be able to share these greatnesses with the world. Thank you again for being part of it. I know this is a Thursday, so this is kind of one of our training conversations that we're having, something that helps make us a little bit better, something that gives us little tips, little pointers that elevate us above the rest of the riprap in the cleaning industry. Now you'll notice that I'm kind of bouncing around again. I got my camera in my hand. You know why? Because I'm going to walk around, I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things of why we do the processes and procedures that we do. Why we ask that we dry wipe before we wet wipe is extremely important. Now our office here at the Mullet is no different than every other office. We have people walking through the doors. We have the doors opening and closing. We have people using the restrooms. We have people eating lunch. We have people doing all these things that are normally happening at an office anyway. But here's why we want to dry wipe before we wet wipe. Now I did this to the floors just so I can show everybody why it's so important. Now I'm gonna see if I can flip this camera around here. How do I flip this thing around? Let's see. Didn't claim to be super smart. I just claimed that I try to know what I'm doing with cleaning. But if you'll notice down here on the floor, right here in those corners, in that edge, I don't know if you can see it, but there's dirt, there's funk, there's grime, there's all these little funky things that are going on right there. I mopped that floor, but all this rock and all that stuff stayed there. All these little hair particles that you're seeing on the floor, that was because I didn't vacuum or sweep. Look at all this stuff. I literally just mopped the floor and let it dry. Look at that pile, just in a small little section. The mop does not pick up this kind of funk. The mop just wets it down and smears it all over the place. You have to get that stuff off the ground before you mop. You have to get that stuff off the ground. The whole floor looks like this. I can find specks of dust and dirt all over this entire floor because I didn't vacuum and I didn't sweep before I mopped. That's not how we do things, guys. That's not how we do things. We've seen this more times on our job sites than I like to admit. People are trying to rush through things. We're trying to cut corners. Man, we get this done a little bit faster. We just go ahead and mop it instead of sweeping it. No, it leaves a shitty service. It leaves crap on the floor. That's not how we do it. It's extremely important. Let me go show you something else. Let me go show you something else. How we talk about, dry wiping these toilets and this porcelain. Extremely, extremely important. I don't know if you can see it. Look at all that dust and funk. I went ahead and just wiped that toilet with some solution instead of dry wiping it first. I went ahead and wiped it. I don't know if you can see down here because it's kind of dark, but all that lint and fuzz and funk is just being rubbed all over the porcelain. It's just being rubbed all over the porcelain. It's not just smearing things. Our rags are not picking this junk up. If we don't take that 2 seconds to use a dry yellow towel to wipe that dang toilet off before we put some solution on it, we're gonna get funky results just like that. If we don't take the time to mop or sweep and vacuum these floors before we wet mop them, we're gonna get piles of junk just like this. Piles of junk just like that. Instead of me catching it, it's gonna be our customers catching it. Instead of our night heroes catching it, it's gonna be our customers catching it. What are they gonna think? What are they gonna think when we're talking about being the best? When we're leaving little notes for them, tell them how great our team is by showing them that we're trying to be our best all the time. What are they gonna think about us? They're gonna think we're just like everybody else. They're gonna think we're just like every other cleaning company out there that doesn't give a damn about their cleanliness. They're gonna think about every other cleaning company out there that doesn't care about doing a good job, that's not proud of their work. That's what they're gonna think. Now I know that our team is extremely proud of what we do. I'm extremely proud of our team. I'm extremely proud of the processes that we built together by learning on how to be our best. These processes are not just because I like to hear myself talk. These processes are not just because I like to go ahead and say, here, this is how we're gonna do things. These processes were designed through conversations with professionals like you that allow us to understand what it takes, the science behind a proper clean. It's the science behind a proper clean. We use science to make our lives better. We use science and technology to make everything a little bit easier and a better service. That's what we're doing. That's what we use science for. We can use science with cleaning. Guys, let's pay attention to the little details that separate us and elevate us above the rest of the riprap in the cleaning industry. Don't do these things. Don't do things like this. Don't think you're cutting corners to try to save a couple seconds when all it's costing you is quality. All it's costing you is your integrity, and it's costing you the value of being a professional. Let's not do that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let's take the time to do things right. Let's take time to follow our processes and our procedures. Let's take the time to follow our checklist so we're not skipping out on dusting these corners over here in the window. There's a cobweb over there in the window. There's a cobweb in that window because we're not following our processes and procedures. Last night was high-low corners. I found cobwebs in high-low corners because we're not following our processes and procedures. It's extremely important, guys. It's extremely important. We want to be valued in our community. We want to be valued by our customers. In order to do that, we have to be the professionals that we claim to be. In order to do that, we have to follow our processes and our systems, and we have to perform at a very elite level. Missing little things like that takes the value away from us. It takes a lot of energy to earn that respect back. Let's not lose it in the first place. Let's continue to be the professionals that we are. Let's continue to do a great job, and let's continue to pay attention to what separates us from the rest of the riprap. Continue to make those deposits into your excellence. Think about why you're out here doing this. Who's watching you? More is caught than is taught. Let them catch us being remarkable. Always be remarkable, team. Don't do like I did. Don't leave junk on the floor. Good training. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.